Well, he's an Ironman who never comes off the field. From pounding the rock on offense to anchoring the defense at linebacker to making plays on special teams. Charlie Scott of St. Andrews does it all. Sometimes the measure of a man isn't found in the box score. And the truth is, there's no way to calculate humility. But every now and then the two collide, where a player ruins opponents and answers his greatness by praising his teammates. Such is the case with Charlie Scott.
His character is tremendous. His grades are great, and like I said, his work habits in the weight room and conditioning on the football field is bar none.
I seriously considered leaving the school in 10th grade and go to Madison Central or a place like that. But when it came down to it, I just could not leave my teammates, and I could not be happier that I stuck around, and I'm just glad how everything has worked out.
In his final game as a Saint on October 29th, Scott piled up 480 yards on the ground, fifth best for a single contest in the history of the state. Not to mention, he made 14 tackles as a linebacker on defense.
To tell the truth, I didn't even know I rushed it for as many yards as I did. I didn't know until after the game when they told me, and I just couldn't believe it. And I still don't believe it.
You can almost tell that wherever Charlie walks, those young ones try to follow him around. And certainly the other night after the ball game, he was a hero.
On the year, Scott rushed for 2,043 yards and 23 touchdowns, while racking up 93 tackles. And when you watch him compete on special teams, you realize he never takes a play off, and his motor doesn't stop.
After the game, I'm just starving. I have to go to get something to eat right after the game. Then I go straight to bed after watching Blitz 16, of course.
And when it comes to leaving a legacy at St. Andrews, few may ever match Scott's impact.
He's made a believer out of everybody at this school with his work habits and his attitude and his character that you can be a champion, and that's what Charlie Scott is. He's a champion.
He's blazing a trail of influence with character and leadership that will be impossible to replace.
Has an opportunity to do something that no one in the history of the private school's ever done, and that's to win 4 straight overalls as a starter.
I remember right after the state championship game last year, I walked up to the bench and he was like, "You're not done yet, you know, you still have one more." And he just keeps telling us that's what all us as seniors are going to be remembered by. So this is an important one to me because this is my senior year.
And Miskelly is making it count. The senior point guard scored a combined 60 points in his last 2 games to lead his team to a district title. On the season, he's averaging 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists a contest. Not to mention, his team is riding a 69-game winning streak in the MAIS.
I really realized, like, wow, it's almost over. I worked harder than I've ever worked before. You know, I was in the weight room. I was getting shots up whenever I could because that's people always, yeah, Caleb's good, but he couldn't hit an outside shot for his life.
Before his junior year, Miskelly accepted Christ at a summer camp called Kanakuk in the Ozark Mountains outside of Branson, Missouri. There he learned a creed he lives by. A disciplined mind and body pursuing its passion leads to spiritual impact. And he's been preaching that ever since, but rarely uses words.
We've had a lot of things to overcome, and we definitely don't have as much talent as we've had. But it's been so much fun just to be around these guys and just to see everybody, how hard everybody's worked this year. It's been awesome.
He has worked extremely hard. He will continue to work hard, and because of that drive he has, that's why we haven't lost in the private school league.
If you ask those who know him best, they'd say his humility is impressive and his desire to win is second to none, proving his hardest lesson learned won't stand in the way of his dream to play college basketball.
If I would have worked hard all 4 years, I think I could have been getting a lot of offers. But I didn't, and I'm where I'm at now. And I think there's a reason that I'm at where I'm at now. And so I'm just kind of waiting for guys to open up some doors. And I'm very confident that those doors are going to be open.
It was senior night at the Rock in Hattiesburg, and the events that unfolded won't soon be forgotten. In the wake of tragedy, a school united found a way to overcome. All 17 seniors dressed to play presented the parents of Martez Smith, James and Martha, a yellow rose and a heartfelt hug before joining their own families on the field. And just before the Golden Eagles paraded out of the locker room, the 18th senior on the roster stood taller than the rest as Martez Smith made a surprise appearance in the north end zone. Paralyzed from the waist down, he was wheeled out in front of 32,000 plus to a standing ovation.
You know, if you saw that smile, I mean, that's what I saw today when I went to see him in the hospital. The whole time I was there. I mean, that's what he's about. And, you know, it's kind of difficult to put in words, you know, what I felt when I was visiting with him and when I saw him here tonight. It's just difficult to describe, but it's a great feeling to see him as upbeat as he is.
Band member Adam Wiseman was born with a disability that has confined him to a wheelchair since the age of 3. And he believes Smith will one day rise again.
And if he wants to play sports, he can play sports. I mean, he can live a normal life regardless of his situation, and it's going to take some getting used to, but he can do it.
Wide receiver DeAndre Brown wore Smith's number 32 jersey tonight, and 2 other teammates donned the number 43 and 91, normally worn by Tim Green and Dedrick Jones. After the pregame ceremony, head coach Larry Fedora told me that adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. And tonight, both on and off the field, Southern Miss University proved exactly who they are. In Hattiesburg, Christian Steckel, 16 WAPT Sports.
Well, police in Hattiesburg believe they have arrested the triggerman in that USM shooting case.
The PSA White Sox, red and blue teams, are led by former SEC standouts who both played in the major leagues. Former Mississippi State and All-SEC selection Pete Young and former Ole Miss All-American Chris Snopek are each coaching their respective 9-year-old travel teams that have qualified for a trip to the Elite World Series. The clubs are leaving town Saturday for the USSSA National Championship hosted at Disney's Wide World of Sports in Orlando, Florida.
You know, these guys worked hard all year. We had to qualify through a couple of events, one in Orange Beach. And this is the Elite World Series. And so these guys have worked hard. It's the top, 32 teams qualify out of 1,000. And so hopefully we can represent Jackson, Mississippi well.
If we could just finish 1 and 2, I think that'd be great for the state, be great for our program, our company. It would be awesome. But the one thing that scares me is seeing a lot of these teams coming from California, Texas, from up north. I just hope our Mississippi boys don't just get a little stage fright.
After practicing and working and doing a lot of hitting and fielding, I think we might have a pretty good chance.
And in such a competitive environment, the way to keep it fun is to emphasize the team concept and by making sure the kids continue to learn and improve.
We try to keep it atmosphere to where they can hit and they play defense. Everybody rotates every inning, and everybody they get on the mound. This is the first year they get to pitch, so it's almost like backyard baseball, but it's constructed enough to where they can learn.